wrote the song and it's not that slow. I wrote the song and I hope it doesn't blow. I wrote the song, I'm so good on piano. I need a hug and that's how the chorus goes.
Yeah, come on.
I need a hug, you need a hug. Your mom needs a hug and your dad needs a hug. Your brother needs a hug and your sister needs a hug. And everybody needs a hug like
I need a hug, give me a hug.
You call us up just to see how we were doing. You call us up cause you're one amazing woman. You showed us love, always so sincere. You showed us love and it lives right here. I need a hug, you need a hug.
Nosotros necesitamos gozar. Ellos necesitan nosotros.
Give me a hug.
We had you as a friend and feel so truly blessed. To have you as a friend was like totally the best. I wrote this song right when I was feeling blue. I need a hug and I'm wanting one from you. I need a hug, you need a hug. Your mom needs a hug and your dad needs a hug. Your brother needs a hug and your sister needs a hug. And everybody needs a hug like
I need a hug, give me a hug.
Yeah, yo, alright everybody, here's how we're gonna do it. You're gonna take your one hand, and you're gonna put it around the back. And you're gonna take your other hand, put it around the head. And you're gonna pull that person towards you. And you're gonna show us some love.
I need a hug, give me a hug.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our whole school assembly on Friday, the 8th of January 2021. We've got some people saying hello this morning. We've got Kizzy, Isaac and Miss Brown who can't wait for this assembly today. Fantastic. Great to have you with us this morning. We've got a long good morning from the Wilson family. It's wonderful to see you this morning. Morning from Benji. Hi, Benji. Hello from Elsie and Henry. Hello to Rosa, who's joining us. Who else have we got here? We've got Holly and Seth who are giving us a wave. Good morning, and good morning, Holly and Seth. Rosa's sending a hug to all of her friends. Oh, that's a nice thing to do. Chloe's super excited for the assembly this morning. The Bullock family are. Good morning from Jacob. Just seen some great work from Jacob. Jacob has been cooking his own pancakes. And I have asked Jacob, does he do a delivery service? Because I might need a takeaway. Oh, wonderful to see so many fabulous people saying hello this morning. Wonderful, wonderful. Well done. Now, this morning we have a special guest joining us, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a clue with a song about what our focus of assembly might be around today.
How much is that dog in the window? Woof, woof. The one with the waggly tail. How much is that dog in the window? Woof, woof. I do hope that dog is for sale. I don't want a bunny or a kitten. Woof, woof. I don't want a parrot that talks. Raro. I don't want a bowl of little fishes. Oh. You can't take a goldfish for walks. How much is that dog in the window? The one with the waggly tail. How much is that doggy in the window? Woof, woof. I do hope that doggy's for sale. One more time?
One more time.
Different key. How much is that doggy in the window? The one with the waggly tail. How much is that doggy in the window? Woof, woof. I do hope that doggy's for sale. Oh! I don't want a bunny or a kitten. Woof, woof. I don't want a parrot that talks. Oh! I don't want a bowl of little fishes. Hello! You can't take a goldfish for walks. Woof, woof. How much is that doggy in the window? The one with the waggly tail. How much is that doggy in the window? I do hope that doggy's for sale.
And And this morning we are joined by a doggy and Hilary. Good morning, Hilary.
Good morning, everybody.
Now, you may remember if you joined us in lockdown 1, Hilary did a number of assemblies with us. But for those who perhaps haven't met you before, Hilary, do you want to introduce yourself and who you've got with you today?
Okay, right. I'm Hilary, as you've gathered, and I actually have 5 dogs at home. This dog here, which you can see, this Border Collie, isn't my own. It's a dog that I'm looking after for the time being. But as you can see, she's very, very kind and very gentle. So I'm using her today to demonstrate a few things about looking after your dogs. It's a bit cold to do the agility outside, so I thought I would talk about brushing and grooming and generally looking after your dogs. It doesn't have to be dogs, it could be any animal really, but I'm going to concentrate on dogs this morning. So first of all, I think we should talk about brushing dogs. Now, I think most people, if they're honest, don't really brush their dogs enough. I think I'm probably guilty about that. So I'm going to do a little demonstration of what I call a good brush of a dog. Oh, and she's just backing off here now. Perhaps you could all put in the comment box why you think it's important for dogs to be brushed. There's various reasons. I'm just bringing the treats over here now so she can come here. Come on, Clicker. Good girl. So I'm going to get her to sit. So why do you think it's really important for you to brush your dogs regularly? As you can see here, I'm using what's called a slicker brush, which is not going to hurt the dog at all. In fact, I can brush my hand like that and it doesn't hurt at all. Brushing the dog here regularly is very important for lots and lots of reasons, and perhaps you can comment below. All dogs have different sorts of coats. As you can see from Clicker, she's got a medium length coat. It's not really, really long to the ground, and it's not really short, like, say, for example, like a Labrador's got a short coat. She's got a medium coat, but it's quite thick. So it takes quite a lot of grooming, quite a lot of brushing to get her looking really nice and shiny. All right, so a brush is very important for those of you who've got dogs, because dogs like us, we can get tangles in our hair, and dogs can get tangles and knots in their coats as well, which can be quite uncomfortable. So it's very important to make sure they don't have the tangles and knots. So a brush is important, but also a comb. Some of you perhaps use comb on your hair rather than a brush. And a comb is the same sort of thing. So combing your dog through, in a minute, you'll see exactly how much hair, how much of the undercoat I can get out of Clicker, even with a simple brush, right? That's 2 seconds of brushing. And look what I've got already. She's given a picture.
We've got a few people commenting now, Hilary. Alec thinks you need to brush dogs to keep them clean.
Yes.
Toby says to keep your dog clean. Isaac says they might have fleas and dirt.
Oh, brilliant.
And the bakers say so their fur doesn't get knotty.
Yeah.
And we've got someone else saying to keep knots out.
They
Elliot
are all correct answers. Very important. Someone actually mentioned fleas, which is very important as well. Fleas and ticks. Those of you with dogs probably heard about fleas and ticks, definitely about fleas. Fleas and ticks are something that dogs can catch from various places, especially in the spring and summer when they go out in the long grass and things like that. So it's very important when you're brushing that you can also check that the dog hasn't got any fleas or ticks. As you're running your hand over the dog, it's good because it's very good therapy for us. And also most dogs, you can see from Clicker, she loves to actually be touched like this. So that's very important as well. So dirt as well, especially if it gets muddy outside and you get your dog in from inside. Again, a good brush, obviously washing the paws and things like that, that's important as well. On the subject of paws are very important to check. Keep regularly checking. As you can see from Clicker, she doesn't mind me touching her paw. Some dogs really don't like it. So obviously with those dogs, just do it gently and make sure you give them a treat if they let you touch their paw, because touching the paws are very important. You need to check that obviously they haven't got any cuts or anything inside the paw. If it's snowy and icy, dogs can get little icicles and things inside the paw, which obviously then is very uncomfortable for them to walk on. So checking the paws, especially after coming in from a walk, but also regularly as well, is a good idea. And also nails. Now, this is something that a lot of people are afraid of doing, and dogs don't really like their nails being done. I actually did clickers yesterday before I realised I was coming here, so hers are quite short anyway, lucky for her. But nail clippers are important, and if you feel brave enough, or your mums or dads or someone feels brave enough to do them, then that's a good idea as well, because if the dog's nails grow too long, what happens is they start curling over and digging into the paw as well. And again, that can be very, very sore. So trimming the dog's nails is important. I might show you in a minute with my poodle, because he's actually quite good at that. So that's feet, definitely. The coat, good, nice and brushed. Don't forget the tail. Dogs don't really like their tails being done. But to stop the fur being matted, yeah, absolutely. Mats are very, very difficult for any groomer to try and get out. If the dog does have a mat, there is something called a mat cutter, which you can buy in pet shops, but you probably don't need it if you brush them regularly anyway. The other thing is, she's not coming for a minute. I'm going to swap dogs now. I'm going to bring in my poodle now. You might have met Ace before, back in April, when we did a few tricks and things like that. And I explained that he was 15. Well, he's nearly 16 now, but he still needs to be groomed, and he gets quite used to it. He also likes his treats. So the other thing to check with dogs, so once we've done the coat and the nails and things like that, obviously our ears. Now, just like us, dogs can get waxy ears, all right, which is not very comfortable for them, but we can help them with that by cleaning their ears. Now, it sounds a bit complicated, but it's not really. So what you need is some ear cleaner, which you can buy from pet shops, and a bit of cotton wool like that. Just put a little bit of the ear cleaner. He's trying to get the treats. We'll have those in a minute, Ace. A little bit of the ear cleaner on the cotton wool pad, and then gently, most dogs don't mind this, gently just wipe round. You can see he's going to shake his ear in a minute. Wipe round the ears like that, just checking that they're not red or sore in any way. And you can see, that's not very nice, is it? He's got quite dirty ears. So I obviously haven't cleaned his ears often enough. But checking dogs' ears is very important as well, so that there's no nasty smell or anything like that. We have another question here. What is a dog's favourite food? Oh, well, as you can see, my dogs like to eat everything. I actually feed my dogs raw meat as their main food, but they do get the odd treats here. These are turkey treats, which I've got here, which they love as well. How often should we clean their ears? Roughly. Excellent question. I would be checking their ears every week and only cleaning them when they look really dirty, or when the dog is really, really scratching or rubbing their ears like that. That means that it's slightly uncomfortable. If they get really sore or really smelly, then obviously you'd have to take them to the vet to check out. We brush our dog's teeth. Oh, excellent. Brushing the dog's teeth. I was coming on to that in a minute. Dog's teeth are obviously, they need to be brushed regularly if possible. Although if dogs have chewy raw bones, that's very good for their teeth as well, because as the dog is chewing the meaty raw bone, it actually cleans the teeth naturally as well. Ace is trying to eat those. All right. But some dogs do get really mucky teeth, and looking at their teeth as well, if they'll let you, like Ace will let me here, but he is nearly 16, so his teeth aren't brilliant. But a young dog should have nice, white, clean teeth. All right. How do dogs get different colours?
Well, there are lots of different types of dogs, aren't there? Different breeds.
There are, absolutely. There's over 200, I think, 200 different breeds. Some breeds, like a poodle, their hair grows and grows and grows and grows. And if I didn't trim them with scissors and clippers, it would just be like a big ball of fluff. And other dogs do shed hair. Their hair, you'll see it on your carpets probably. Those of you who've got Labradors or German Shepherds or Golden Retrievers, that sort of dog, they do what we call molt, which means that they lose their hair automatically, and even more so when we brush them. So they don't need to be clipped necessarily with the clippers. But with the poodle, we can actually shape the poodle as we like him. As you can see from Ace, he's got a pom-pom on his tail, and that I did with the scissors and the clippers, all right? And he's also got a nice fluffy pom-pom on the top of his head. And again, I would do those with scissors. But so that's slightly a more complicated breed than maybe a Cocker Spaniel or a Springer or a Labrador, all right? So looking after the dog's health is very, very important. I like all these questions coming in. How long does it take to train all your dogs? Depends what I'm training them to do. If you're training them to just do sits and weights and downs, it doesn't take very long. If you've got a very, very clever dog and you've got a dog that likes treats and things like that. So that probably only takes a few days. But if you're training to do all the clever stuff that I showed you with the agility, that can take months and months and months and months. And you're always training, which is good. I've got a Jack Russell. I have a Jack Russell too, definitely, Elliot. I've got one too, and she's not here at the moment. And her coat is slightly different as well. She's got more of a wiry coat, which you have to sort of still look after, still trim and pull out the coat every now and then and look after her nails. But yes, definitely. Our dog Yamba is 9, and we regret not having cleaned her teeth enough. Now she has teeth problems. I think that's quite a very, very common thing, Chloe, with dogs. I don't think we look after their teeth enough because a lot of dogs don't like it, and we go, oh, they don't like it, maybe I'll just leave it. But brushing the dog's teeth, especially if you just got yourself a puppy, is a good idea for them to get used to doing it very, very gently, because you can buy doggy toothpaste and doggy toothbrushes, so there's absolutely no excuse. We have a Golden Retriever and she sheds lots of hair. Unfortunately, Golden Retrievers and German Shepherds, I would say, are the dogs that shed the most hair. So all I can say is I hope you've got a good vacuum cleaner and keep brushing. When it's nice weather, perhaps brush them outside, and then the hair that comes off the dog, the birds will then collect, and in the spring they can use that hair to make their nest. So that's what I do. That's a very good idea. We have a dog named Ralph. Lovely name. I love that dog's name.
That's a lovely name.
It is. What kind of dog is Ralph? I'd like to know.
We've got another question here.
Okay.
Elliot.
Give your dogs treats. I think, if I'm honest, most people treat their dogs too often, and a lot of dogs that I see are fat, overweight. So you've got to be very careful with your treats, and also choose the right treats. Don't give them really human treats, but things like bits of fresh chicken or bits of liver or things like that. But never, ever, ever give your dog things like chocolate, because that is not good for dogs at all. All right, so special dog treats every now and then, especially if they're doing something good. I think Clicker wants to join in again now. She spotted the treats. Rowan has a dog called Willow. Lovely names here. Like that name called Willow. Definitely. Good name. Oh, Bedlington Whippet. Now that's an interesting mix. Of course, as well as all the pedigree dogs, there are also crossbreeds. And they are usually really nice dogs as well. So Bedlington Whippet, I'd like to know what kind of coat the Bedlington Whippet's got. A Portuguese sheepdog called Pedro, very, very hairy. Right, okay. So very, very hairy. I don't know whether you take Pedro to the groomer sometimes to be done professionally, or whether you manage the hairy dog yourself. But yeah, people with hairy dogs, unfortunately, have got more work than people who have got dogs that aren't very hairy. The Clicker's sitting here. Boxer dogs called Reggiano. They have sensitive tummies, so can't have many treats. Okay, well, if your dog has a sensitive tummy, you have to work out what treats you can give the dog. And very often things like little bits of cooked chicken or even if you feed your dog a dried food, like a little kibble, perhaps save some of that for treats rather than giving it in the bowl. We have 3 dogs, 2 Cavalier, King Charles, and a crossbreed. Luckily, Dad is a dog groomer. Aren't you lucky? All right, that's very lucky, because otherwise that would be taking your dogs to the dog groomer quite often. Click, come out the way, babe. And my dog is called Meg. Very good. Thank you, Elliot. I was wanting to know what your dog was called. Rough-coated Bedlington Whippet. Oh, maybe you could take a picture or draw a picture of Willow and put it up somewhere so that we can all see. All right.
I think I might be able to find a picture of Willow, because Rowan shared one this morning doing some reading with Willow. People have been reading to their dogs. I think that's a good idea, don't you?
Excellent idea. I always talk to my dogs all the time. I think my husband thinks I'm a bit mad sometimes, because I probably talk to the dogs more than I talk to him. But as you can see, Clicker, I'm sitting here stroking her, and for me, that's really nice. I love doing this, and you can see from her face too that she just loves doing that too. One more thing I suddenly remembered, because I remember this morning she rolled in something a bit smelly, and I need to actually bath her in something called fox poo shampoo. And I expect some of you with dogs have got dogs that roll in something smelly as well. So that is something that I find really useful. If your dog does roll in something, and don't ask me why they do it, they just do it sometimes, then rubbing something like that in, or even a little bit of tomato ketchup, will take the smell away. That's a little bit of a trick or a tip for you there. All right. Are there any more questions? Patterdale Cross called Bertie. Do you have a Patterdale? No, my terrier is a Parson Russell Terrier. So she's got slightly longer legs. Next time, perhaps I'll show you. She can be on the screen as well. She's got slightly longer legs than a normal Jack Russell, and she's very naughty. We have to brush her often as her hair becomes matted, especially from running on the beach and through the woods trying to chase deer. I can imagine that. Yeah, if the dog gets wet and also then starts to dry, then try and brush out. A good tip. Try and brush out the coat as the coat is drying, and then you won't get the knots. A fluffy border collie that melts in clumps called and a cocker cross border collie, short hair called Boppy. Furry rabbit ears. I like those. I wonder if anyone else has seen those. They are actually rabbit ears with the fur on. The dogs absolutely love them. Most dogs absolutely love them, and they're actually quite good for the dog. Because some people say it's like a natural wormer for the dog. So as the hair is going through the body, through the intestines, it does tend to clean out the dog. So very good. Natural things. We like him, Harry, so we try to keep him groomed ourselves. Good. He can get matted. Yeah, that's the problem with some dogs. A lot of dogs do end up getting trimmed quite close because the coat does get matted. But if you can brush them, then even better. We have a Cocker Spaniel who's called Bodie. Is the Cocker Spaniel, is it a working Cocker Spaniel or a show Cocker Spaniel? Because they do vary as well. Bertie is naughty too. I like naughty dogs, but it doesn't make it very easy to groom them sometimes. So
I mentioned that photo that I had through this morning. This is a photo I had this morning.
Oh, brilliant photograph. I love that photograph. Isn't that amazing?
That photo, isn't it?
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, that just proves that dogs like to be with you. And during this time of lockdown and we're all at home, it's a really, really good opportunity to be with our dogs, to read to our dogs, to play with our dogs, give them a lot more attention maybe. That's very good.
Hilary, can I say a massive thank you for joining us for Assembly today? We've really appreciated your input. It's been a lovely Assembly, and no doubt we'll see you again sometime, but thank you very much.
Very welcome. I'm pleased to be able to do it.
How
Much is that dog in the window? Woof, woof.
The one with the waggly tail.
How?
How much is that dog in the window?
Woof, woof.
I do hope that dog is
For sale.
I don't want a bunny or a kitten.
Woof, woof.
I don't want a parrot that talks.
Rero.
I don't want a bowl of little fishes.
Ow.
You can't take a goldfish for walks. How
much is that doggy in the window?
the
One with the waggly tail. How much is that doggy in the window? Woof, woof.
I do hope that
Doggy's for sale.
One more time.
One more time.
Different key. How much
Is that doggy in the window? The one with the waggly tail. How much is that doggy in the window? Woof, woof.
I
To hope that doggy's for sale.
I don't want a bunny or a kitten. I don't want a parrot that talks. I don't want a bowl of little fishes.
Hello.
You can't take a goldfish for walks. How
Much is that doggy in the window?
the
One with the waggly tail. How much is that doggy in the window?
I
Do hope that doggy's for sale.